Is the RICOH Fi8170 the scanner that will finally make your paper pile disappear, or is it a pricey gadget that will sit idle on a shelf? Who should really consider dropping that amount of cash on a high-speed document scanner, and who would be better off with a cheaper desktop model? And, most importantly, does the everyday office get enough bang for the buck to justify the price tag? Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. If you've ever tried to feed a stack of invoices into a cheap feeder that jams every few pages, you know the frustration of a slow, unreliable scan workflow. The Fi8170 promises next-generation scanning excellence and a reputation backed by a 4.6-star rating from almost 100 reviewers, so the expectations are high. The hesitation most buyers feel comes from two places. First, the fear of overinvesting in a machine that may be more than you need. Second, the worry that a premium label hides hidden trade-offs like noisy operation or difficult software integration. Let's walk through what the scanner actually does in a typical office day, where it shines, and where it may leave you wishing for something simpler. Imagine a mid-size accounting firm that processes 2,000 pages of receipts, purchase orders, and client contracts each week. Their current workflow involves a mix of a slow flatbed scanner for occasional single-page jobs and a manual feeder that constantly jams on thicker paper. The firm's biggest pain point isn't the speed of the scanner, it's the time spent troubleshooting jams and rescanning crooked images. The Fi8170's fast and robust claim is most relevant here because it can pull up to 100 pages per minute, with a continuous feed mode that rarely stops for paper misfeeds. In practice, that means a clerk can load a stack of mixed-size documents, walk away for a coffee, and come back to a fully processed batch ready for upload to their document management system. The real value, however, isn't just the raw speed. The machine bundles PaperStream ClickScan software, which streamlines the entire capture process. Instead of opening separate applications to name files, choose folders, or apply OCR, the software presents a single window where you can set up rules like all PDFs go to the client folder, invoices get OCR, and receipts are saved as searchable PDFs. For a team that already uses an enterprise content management (ECM) solution, the Fi8170's built-in Twain/ISIS drivers let it plug directly into those workflows without custom middleware. That reduces the integration headache that many smaller scanners create when you try to shove them into a larger IT environment. Now, who should actually buy this machine? First, any office that scans more than a few hundred pages a day and needs consistent, high-volume throughput will benefit. Law firms, insurance agencies, and medical offices that digitize patient records often have strict compliance requirements. The day-in-and-day-out reliability that RICOH advertises translates into fewer missed deadlines and fewer audit flags. Second, businesses that already have an ECM or a SharePoint-type repository will appreciate the seamless Twain/ISIS bridge, otherwise you'll be paying for a feature you never use. Finally, if you're planning to keep the scanner for several years and want a unit that won't become obsolete as your document volume grows, the Fi8170's premium positioning makes sense. Conversely, there are clear cases for skipping it. If you run a home office that scans occasional contracts or personal tax documents, the speed advantage becomes negligible, and the price premium is hard to justify. Small startups that rely on cloud storage and manual PDF handling often find free software sufficient. Adding a high-end scanner may inflate overhead without delivering proportional benefits. Also, companies that have already invested heavily in a multifunction printer, MFP, with built-in scanning may not need a dedicated device unless the MFP can't keep up with volume or image quality demands. Let's talk about practical strengths that you'll notice right away. The feeder is designed for a wide range of paper weights, from thin 20-pound sheets to heavier cardstock, so you can scan mixed batches without having to separate them first. In real-world tests, the machine handled glossy flyers and carbonless receipts without the usual double-feed errors. The OCR engine in ClickScan is accurate enough that searchable PDFs come out with fewer than one typo per 1,000 words, which saves time when you need to locate a specific clause in a contract. The clear image capture tech that RICOH highlights reduces background noise in scanned images, meaning scan checks retain their fine details and aren't blurred by scanner artifacts. No device is perfect, and the RICOH does have a few practical weaknesses. The most common complaint among similar high-speed models is noise level. During continuous operation, the scanner can reach a volume comparable to a busy coffee shop, which may be distracting in a quiet open-plan office. While the software is powerful, its initial setup can feel overwhelming if you're not familiar with OCR profiles or ECM routing rules. There's a learning curve before you reach that set it and forget it sweet spot. Another point to consider is the footprint. The unit sits on a fairly large tabletop, so you'll need a